Welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We generally cover anime figure and collectible reviews, but of course we are big gamers and cover everything from Japan as well. And I thought I would just do a kind of general reaction to the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't want to go too much into all the new stuff because I'm sure you've seen the videos and announcements from Nintendo. But yeah, there's some things that have surprised me and I just wanted to share my thoughts, and I'm really interested what you all think in the comments as well. So Nintendo Switch 2, it is the official name, and it is going to be available from the 5th of June, so not too far away at all. I think just in general, the Switch has been a massive success. I think for me, what's really made the Switch accessible is, I've been a bit of a hardcore gamer over the years, but one of the main reasons why I got a Switch was because I wanted to play video games with my partner, who is not typically a gamer, and it's just something that I thought would be good to spend time together. And I think in that sense it's been really successful. Actually, we play Mario Party and Mario Kart, and even some games like Super Mario Wonder. The multiplayer function really worked well, and I think even my partner has really enjoyed playing games like Luigi's Mansion, and Mario Odyssey is probably a little bit tricky for her, but she's been playing through that. And then the other one she really enjoyed was Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which I also surprised me. I really enjoyed that game as well. So I think it's just really, it's very accessible, it's very easy to use, it's very intuitive. And, even though I don't take my Switch on the road, so to speak, I always play at home. I do sometimes use the handheld mode, mainly because it just saves me having to wear glasses or anything like that. It's just easy to whip out and play. It also gives you, you can play in different parts of the house. So look, there is a strong argument to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there is something in me that goes, this just doesn't feel Nintendo, because Nintendo have never rested on their laurels. They've always tried to reinvent the wheel, and I think for the most part they have succeeded. And they've just, they've had their ups and downs over the years, but if you think about the consoles that they've released over the years, you think of the Famicom, the Nintendo 64, the GameCube, the Wii. The Wii was very innovative in particular. The Wii U was a bit of a miss. The Switch, again, very, very popular. They did well with that. But it's been 8 years, which is a very long life for a console, particularly nowadays when technology changes so quickly. And I know they've had different iterations. They had the OLED. I personally own an OLED version. But yeah, there's something that just inside me is going, this is Nintendo, and we've waited 8 years, and they're just basically releasing something that looks the same, feels the same. There's really not much to see here. It feels like another iPhone release where the screen's a little bit bigger, the processor's a little bit more powerful, and that's about it. And I think when you look through the videos, like, oh, there's a USB-C port on the top. Yeah, who cares? Oh, the controllers, instead of, sliding them in, they're magnetic. Yeah, okay, that's good, but is that what we waited 8 years for? So yeah, there's something in me that just expected a little bit more with this. But anyway, that's what they've gone with. The next thing that does, although I will say that the controls being a little bit bigger is a good thing. I have fairly small hands, to be honest, but even then I do find them to be quite small. In single player mode like this, it's not too bad, but when you're playing in multiplayer mode, I do actually get a bit of finger cramp, and the buttons and the Joy-Con is very close together as well. So I'm glad that they're a little bit bigger, but I don't think it's really going to make a huge difference either way. But let's just see. In terms of launch titles, I think they have a very weak lineup, to be very honest with you. Mario Kart World, I think, is the big release that they're going with here. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was by far the I think it was anyway. I mean, Mario Kart and Smash Bros have always been the big. People think it's Super Mario and Zelda, but it's actually Smash Bros and Mario Kart, and I think usually Mario Kart. Oh, it depends. It depends on the console, but they're usually the two big ones. So it is a big deal, It is a big deal, a Mario Kart release, but and I played a lot of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and as somebody who loves racing in general, I follow MotoGP and Formula One and that sort of stuff. The more I play Mario Kart, and I've played a lot of Mario Kart over the years, the more I realize it's almost just luck. And I think that at least Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's so crazy. You got tracks that, like spin around and go directly vertical, and there's just, it's just so, it's less and less and less dependent on skill and more dependent on just luck. And I've sort of fallen out of Mario Kart a little bit, out of love with Mario Kart a little bit. Believe it or not, I actually enjoy the time trials more on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe than the Grand Prix. The multiplayer is a lot of fun, but certainly just playing on your own, there's very little value. But I really have been enjoying the time trials because it actually feels like a proper racing game. And watching the trailer for Mario Kart World, for me, it just felt very meh. Some new tracks, more characters. They had some weird features like, you can go off track and explore the world, and it's like, yeah, when I was 5, I loved doing that with games and trying to go into a town that was in the distance or something. But without playing it, it's hard to say, but I think what's really missing here, at least for me, is no new Zelda game, although we did just get Tears of the Kingdom, but no new Zelda release game and no big 3D Super Mario game. It's been 8 years since Odyssey came out, and no Super Mario game. Donkey Kong Bonanza was announced. I think that game looks interesting. It's not one of those 2D side scrollers like Tropical Freeze. It's looks like a full 3D adventure game, so that one does look quite interesting. And if I do end up getting the Switch 2, which I probably won't be for a while, still got quite a few games anyway on the Switch, but that one looks, it's probably the only game to me that actually looks interesting, to be quite frank with you. A lot of these other games here, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Switch Edition, Switch 2 Edition, to me looks basically, there's no point buying it. Like, quicker loading times, better graphics, that's it. Nothing else to me that seems worth purchasing it. So yeah, I know it's only day one, but I would have thought that they Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's like, yeah, it's a pass, but nothing too crazy. The other thing that does disappoint me a bit is the consoles. So I have an OLED Switch. I have the Splatoon version. I'm not a huge Splatoon fan, but I love the great color version that they have there. But these look very unimaginative. Just a black console. Even the special edition Mario Kart one, there's nothing special about it at all. And I was actually having a look. So the Mario Kart bundle, it doesn't even, I'll actually show you guys here, it doesn't even have the It doesn't even have the where was it? It doesn't even include a physical copy. It just gives you the download code. So you're paying another $70 to get the download code to have the online edition of it, which is, yeah, here we go. Nintendo Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World bundle, which includes a console and a download code for Mario Kart World. So that's it. You don't even get a physical copy of the game. Okay. And the other thing is, look at the prices. Look at the prices. 700. So this is Australian dollars. So the US dollar price is 450 US. I think the Switch started at 300. And yeah, I mean, in Australian dollars, I think even the OLEDs were in fact, I think the OLEDs were even 450, and the special edition ones were 500 to 550. But yeah, $700. I know inflation and everything else, but $700 for a Nintendo console. I mean, that's a lot of money. Because, usually you're paying that much for a PlayStation or an Xbox, and they are much more technologically advanced. And the other thing is, Nintendo have always had their hardware a lot cheaper, and they tend to make their money on their software because they develop a lot of their software in-house. You think a lot of the titles that Nintendo develop, or at least jointly develop, you've got so many franchises like, Mario Kart, Super Mario, Zelda, I think Smash Bros. There's a connection there with HAL, HAL, not HELL, HAL Laboratories, Pokemon, of course, so there's a lot of, Donkey Kong. So that's where Nintendo, I think, kind of had the advantage over some of the others, which are more, the Xbox and PlayStations of the world, which are more your sort of EA Sports and, Activision and that sort of thing. So, but this is just like, $700. And then same with the games. So even if you look at the games, right, $114 Australian dollars, but that's like 75 US dollars for Mario Kart. I don't know, man. And I mean, even Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition, $104. There is absolutely no reason why you would buy these games if you already had them on the Switch. And so I think these games would be targeted towards people who have not played them on the Switch, right? And they're going to play them on Switch 2. Wouldn't you want to make those games accessible to people? Like, you really got to think, how many people are going to buy a Switch 2 that A, probably don't have a Switch, and B, probably have never played Zelda? And you're going to charge them $104 for a game. And Nintendo is really bad. They're getting really bad at this, because if you look at, even Xbox, a game I love, Banjo-Kazooie, and they released, the whole set, and they make it really cheap. You can pay like $30 and get 3 absolute classics, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're just older games. But Nintendo, how many times did they release Tropical Freeze? Like 3 times, I think. And they every time they charge you full retail price for it, and there's like nothing different or special about it. So I can't help but feel that there's a bit of price gouging here by Nintendo, and I have to say it's disappointing to see that. So, I'm definitely not going to rush out and buy this game or this console from day one. In fairness, I was pretty late to the game. I only got the OLED when it came out. I didn't get an original Switch. But in general, it's always I think better to wait a bit anyway, rather than pay full price. But I suspect that these are going to be on sale and discounted, maybe especially around Christmas 2025 we might see that. But yeah, but I think overall, if you like the Switch, which I think the Switch console is fantastic. I think there are many fantastic games out there that you can play. I mean, there's something for everyone, even if you're not into the sort of more, cutesy Kirby Mario Party type games. I mean, you've also got games like Bayonetta and Zelda and Metroid Prime, etc. But yeah, I mean, it just feels like a updated version of the Switch, and they've been pushing, I think, the whole like social elements of, it's got a camera and there's chat functions and all that sort of stuff. I mean, kudos to Nintendo for doing that, but it's not something that I really have any interest in using. I think it's pretty gimmicky anyway. It's going to be fairly limited use, I think. It looks pretty laggy, and from a practicality point of view, does it really add much to it? I think multiplayer in general is always a big advantage. It adds a lot of fun to it, but yeah, I just think when you think about how advanced some consoles have been in recent years, you've got to ask yourself in 2025, are they really the innovations that you really want to get? So you can't even click on these and see different images. But let me know what you guys think. I mean, I'm not trying to be overly cynical. I think that it looks fantastic, but it just doesn't excite me. It just looks more of the same, and the stuff about faster loading times and better frame rates and better graphics, and I think honestly it's just what you get used to. And if you're on the Switch, like I find playing Zelda, the load times can be a bit slow, but you just get used to it. It's hard once you go to something more advanced to go back, but I think if you're still on that, it's really not that big of a deal. Oh, that's interesting. It actually sticks out. Do you wonder how that's going to go with durability? Because even my joysticks wore out, even with just general use, after about a year and a half. They started cracking and breaking and everything. So yeah. But anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Let me know, guys, what you think. Very interested in your thoughts. Are you going to be going out and buying this? Are you going to wait for it on sale? Are you not going to buy it at all? What games are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.